They say beauty's in the eye of the beholder. The very essence of beauty, you hold her within. Every crack and crevice, you hold her. You're beautiful is what holds a seed. Don't get distracted by rejection, cause we're all pieces of imperfection. The God is used to create a masterpiece, and his Mona Lisa's perfection. Look in the mirror past what you think needs correction. Is someone beautiful in a reflection from your hair follicles to the soles of your feet. Your piece of imperfection makes the masterpiece complete. Guess what? You're beautiful.
The officer did more than enough to de-escalate that situation. You know, in the video that we saw, which wasn't even the original video where she got shot.
Right. I hydroplane on a rainy day with my nephews in the car.
I watched that when she on the plane.
And
making some good money, so she could have on the best edge control. She's sweating, she's flipping. That's not her objective, is to be worried about what her hair looks like.
Yeah.
That don't get you gold.
Do they hate cause my melanin?
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Melanin Fire. I'm Jay Johnson.
I'm Jacqueline Morini.
And I'm Mary Gator.
And I was one of those people to where we weren't coming from Mary's natural hair. The difference is, we was glad Mary was natural. She had a good grind of hair. That's good. However, in certain situations, we felt like Mary's hair was not up to par in certain situations. So I was like, oh Mary, hey, Mary, hey. And we were addressing it in that manner.
Right.
So that's a little bit different. This girl's actually playing a sport.
I can't say that, for me, I can't say you defended that. Because my thing is,
I'm agreeing.
I can't, because no, you just said Gabby can have on the best edge control, and if she sweat, when I was natural, I wore my curls all the time. And so for you to tell me, no matter what the situation was, because I remember, and y'all two don't even know this, I remember when I was president, I had twisted my hair, and I had my African friend twist my hair up, and I was so I was talked bad about for having twisted my hair by someone, and that by people that are supposed to be over us, and that really hurt me. And I'm not even gonna lie, because my hair was twisted. So for you to say that we can't judge her, they shouldn't be talking about her with her edges out, but you just said when I was on certain platforms, natural is always appropriate.
I'm not saying natural.
No, but you just said.
This is the difference though. Y'all trying to say, okay, Gabby's her hair is not done, it's not together. Well, first of all, it's two different things. She's sweating, so in the midst of that, I don't see she's doing a sport. Now, if you are,
so I don't have sweat glands.
No, I'm not saying you don't have sweat glands.
No,
not knocking it. But we were coming from a place of concern to where, Mary, we want you to look your best at all times.
So Gabby shouldn't either.
But wait. What if she wanted to walk around like that? It's her
if she wants to, that's cool.
Why does she have to get victimized for wanting to walk around?
I don't think it's victimized though, because
I'm saying that she looking crazy.
Yeah.
Saying that she look crazy in her natural state of hair.
Yeah.
That's how she want to walk around.
If you want to look like that, that's cool. But I feel like it's no different and she didn't did it. And so if I don't have a haircut and my haircut not looking up to par, now I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking when they tell me, oh, Jay, it's about time to get a haircut. It's not knocking it. First of all, it's a difference. Like, I hold you accountable and you hold me accountable. So I'm not knocking the fact that she's natural.
It's not our job to hold Gabby accountable for her edges, her hair.
No, true. It's not our job.
True. It's different when you have friends and hold each other accountable. Y'all have that relationship.
Right.
Black Twitter.
But I'm saying, for example, like I said, when y'all said something to me.
And that was on a private note too, to where, hey,
but this is my thing. In Gabby's defense, as somebody who it was not done to me by personal friends.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
This is what we're getting to with Gabby. This is not her homegirl saying, hey, Gabby, we either cut it off while you out there or whatever. Because I'm gonna tell you, at the end of the day, the part that I can see where the only part of it that I can see where Black Twitter was talking about it was, one, I've experienced that there is an expectation of how you look when you're in public. That's one, which you said clearly that you had that for me. But the second part of that is, I remember when I first went natural, the first thing my grandmother told me was, remember, while you're natural, that you will always be a pickaninny if you're not together. And it's that Shuck and Jive idea of black face, of minstrel face, that if your hair is not together, the natural edges and stuff like that, it's cool, we want to be natural. But it's that idea that what Black Twitter is talking about is that, Gabby, you can't be out here getting gold and being a pickaninny.
Why can't she though?
No, I'm not saying it's a
right. But I'm saying in terms of Black Twitter, Why can't you?
I think if they talking about presentation, and I think it also that's presentation. But I think it's also contradicting. I just have to be honest, and I'm coming from everybody over here. Sorry, because I feel like you also have seen other people and their hair looking crazy. So I'm not saying you have to be their friend, but everybody is guilty of it. So at the end of the day, whether you agree with, oh, they should have talked about Gabby, you've done it. You looked at somebody and they look crazy, or what they got on their clothes. But I'm not justifying it. But as her being black, I think black people, we have a tendency to make sure that we want the other person to look right. Well, some people.
And I think that's where black
some of y'all are negative, and y'all just negative Nancy. And then some people just like, oh girl, you black. I really want you doing your thing. I want you to when you step out, step out right. And that's the place I was coming from when I was talking.
And I feel like even though it may not have all been perfect,
right?
I'm saying this. On that, being the devil's advocate, I really feel like that's where Black Twitter was coming from with that.
The negative part.
No, with the positive part. We want you to look your best, Gabby, and we don't want them to come back and call you a pickaninny. Right. That's what I'm saying when I say I'm taking the devil's advocate side of that.
I can't agree with that because Black Twitter was bashing her a whole lot worse than the mainstream media probably ever would have thought to do.
Yeah.
Like they was dragging her through the mud, man.
About some
we do that to each other all the time.
Yeah,
we're systematically conditioned to do that to each other based off of 500 years of oppression and miseducation. But why is that the case? Why can't we start rewriting?
Right.
Why can't we start
what beautician didn't volunteer to go? Because this is my thing.
She might be the best beautician.
That's what I'm saying. My thing is this. When it came up in 12 and when it came up in 16, my thing is this with Gabby's hair. When I first heard it, I kind of saw what they were saying on the side of I'd experienced that being a public person. Now I'm like, y'all look out of line. It's whatever. She out there. Not out there.
Yeah,
but I will say this. I did say this in 2012. I didn't say it on Twitter, but I did have this opinion in 2012 when they brought up her hair. That Olympic Stadium is not just for them to go run around and then they go stay the days in. They live there. They have beauticians from every single country, from every single style of hair, professionals, the top of the top there. So where I can see where they're saying, Gabby, you got all these sources to you this whole week.
But what if she don't want to use them? What if she want to walk out?
Bottom line is, you got one side who think Gabby should be presentable, and you got the other side saying let that girl live. Case
closed. Thank you, Jacqueline.
But before we do case closed, I just feel like Jacqueline feel like you're a bit contradicting.
No, I didn't even say nothing about the girl here.
No, but you had your few comments. I feel like it was a bit contradicting. I just can't let that glance over.
I think in the end.
I do agree with.
I think in the end.
I want to know what was contradicting.
I feel like it's contradicting. You're like, oh well.
Let her be. Go ahead.
Oh well, let her be. Don't mess with her hair. But I also feel like it's the same fact. Like,
first of all, I didn't say it was for me. I said bottom line as far as the whole discussion.
No, I'm talking about beforehand in the midst of the.
He's reopening the case.
I'm not. I'm just going over the whole thing like in general. Cause I think a lot of people do that on Black Twitter. They were good at but it's the same thing. Like you always want people. When you see somebody that's not presentable. You like, okay, whether you black, white, because you don't always care. You're just not presentable. You're not.
But what's presentable to one person may not be presentable to the next.
True, but I also feel like presentation is still big.
But that's objective though. You can't
objective,
say
but I also
this is
feel
presentable
like
and it's not. That's your opinion on it.
True, but I feel like we all know what's you look.
It's based off your opinion.
True, but I still.
I remember when I went natural on campus. It was me and one other person natural, and I won't say that person. There's nothing wrong with it.
It was more than just.
But I'm talking about in the public. In public, it was two of us, and we were natural at the same time. She cut all her hair off. I mean, and this, when I went natural in 2010, this wasn't even popular again yet. The styling of the fro at the top and the fade on the sides, that wasn't even popular like that then. And so I want to come up here.
And even then, for the boys, you got the nappy and you got the curly.
All right, but what I'm saying is, it was just us. She cut all her hair off. I didn't. I transitioned. So when I wore my fro, I'll never forget. The AKAs of 2011 had just come off the first time I wore my... I'm going to tell you why. Because I remember a good friend of mine walked up and gave me a hug because everybody was talking about me wearing an afro and I had a bow in it. And I thought I was the cutest thing. It was experience. And that person had just came off. and they came in the student center and said, and it was like, oh, I love your hair. Later, I found out the reason why she came and reassured me at that time was because they had been talking about me and my natural, and they've been talking about the other young lady too. Now, over time, as our hair grew and we was all out and stuff like that, we were very different. I had, you know, curly wave back then, so I wore a little mohawk most of the time. But she experimented with the twist outs and the spongy looks and stuff like that. So we both got criticisms on both sides of that. My thing with this whole issue of us and our hair, for me, we do too much sometimes. I don't care if she had every cookbook on her temple as possible. That is her hair. Her job was to go and jump on the vault, turn backwards, and sit down. And
that's problematic right there.
You know, I'm just saying. But that,
you sound like the white man.
But I'm saying that I do.
No, you sound like the white man.
But no, I'm being basic.
No.
But my thing is, she wasn't meant to be. She ain't a victorious angel at that moment. She is a vulture at that moment.
She built better than me.
Okay, so when we close this case, because I've heard both sides.
Y'all not here over here.
Some of us.
Y'all at home gonna have to tune in real. Y'all not
So
here.
I've noticed in this conversation alone, just on this hair, that there has been a change in opinion in all three of us, in a sense. Because we did have one way, but I do think that in this conversation, which African Americans, we do need to learn, we have to learn from these conversations. If I walk off right now mad at them because they didn't want to deal with what I was saying as devil's advocate, they wouldn't have realized that they have been guilty of exactly what Black Twitter did.
Everybody.
Yeah, and so we may say, we want to say up front, yes, fight the power in this, but we've all been guilty of that, and that imagery thing is what we kind of have to work on. Period. So
case closed.
Case closed. Alright. So now that we kind of got an idea about our ideas on presentation, let's talk about getting back to these schools.
Oh. Back to college.
It's back.
Y'all have fun.
Right.
Right.
Well. Okay. So of all of our time at UCA particularly, we understand that there are several ways that you can stay out of trouble. My personal modem is to always go with the 4 rules of respect. It was taught to me by Thelma Moten of Choosing to Excel. And first things first is, I will always choose to think the best of others. If I cannot build up, I will hush up. I will not gossip or carry tales. And more importantly, as much as it depends on me, I will try to solve the problem.
All right, girl.
All right.
Amen.
That was all right.
That was really good.
I got a feeling that y'all not gonna be that peaceful about telling them what.
No, because you said stay out of trouble.
You said first thing first. I
you
almost
know.
said rest in peace on the field, but.
All right.
Captain, what's your advice for the college students going back?
I guess the best piece of advice I can provide is get to know each and every one of your professors that you have each semester. Each professor should know who you are. They should know your name. They should know your major. Just in case you're in a bind and that professor can help you out. So
that's a good one. I have 2. So the first one I would say is get involved in any way that you can, and that doesn't just mean like for Black students, any minority organizations, but that also means get involved with like your major or your career organizations that are at school. Get involved with that stuff. Just get involved. It looks good on your resume. You get experience. You meet people. All that good stuff. 2, piggybacking off of Kelton, definitely get to know the people outside of like your professor, but the people like over in diversity and community and training. Offices like that, you really, because once you get to know those people, you get invited to stuff, you get those free meals. It's
Miss Jackson.
It's a whole bunch of stuff that comes with getting to know several people on campus outside of your like professors and stuff. So those are my 2.
Yes. Mine would be let this experience shape you. You're gonna meet professors, you're gonna meet people in organizations, you're gonna get involved, you're gonna find out what you want to do, what you don't like, you're gonna have some altercations with some people. Let this whole experience shape you for the better, and don't walk away from it, and don't give up, because a lot of people give up and they go home. It's gonna be hard, it's not gonna be easy, especially if you're a freshman, but just keep going and you'll eventually be where you want to be. So we thank you all for joining us again for another episode of the Melanin Pot. We hope that you were able to take something away from today's discussion. It got kind of hectic, it got kind of real. We appreciate Kelton being here with us today.
Yes.
Please comment, subscribe, and like. Until next time, guys, stay in peace.
Not pieces.